Welcome back to SportsCenter with Ashley and Stan and the Lakers' big three. Houston and LA facing off for the second time in 3 games. The Rockets still searching for their first win on the road. And Jalen Green is like, don't worry, guys, I got it. Hitting threes, throwing it down, left and right. Green, 18 points in the first half. The Rockets were up 6 at the break. Thanks to that rookie. Fourth quarter now, cue LeBron. King taking over. He ties it at 100 there. Next possession for the Lakers. Hits that fadeaway jumper. Ooh, that's pretty. LeBron mode, it's on. Next possession for LA. He continues the left-handed layup. LeBron scores 10 in a row. Lakers lead by 4. Under 5 to play. Avery Bradley gets a shot block. That's okay. AD, I got you. 27 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks from Anthony Davis. And then LeBron continues. Like, do I even got to read the rest of the highlight? Because you know what happens. LeBron doing LeBron stuff. 30 points, 10 assists. But Green making it close. Hitting that 3 over AD. And it is a 1-point game. 8 seconds to go. Houston inbounding. Kevin Porter Jr. Can you be the hero tonight? The answer is no. The Lakers hang on to win 119-117. But
should the Lakers still be the favorites to win it all, Jay?
You're damn right they should be. Let me give you a Kobe Bryant quote. Everything negative, pressure and challenges, it's all an opportunity for me to rise. Mm-hmm. All these things, guys, veteran teams, people aren't going to like to hear it because we want to see the Lakers come out strong and be that team that dominates people right away. This is like training camp for them, right? They have to work out so many different things with their team defensively, a lot of question marks around it. That whole thing about passion, for me, that conflict is a good sign of growth because that was about miscues on how they guard a screen and roll. And my thing is, I don't want anybody on that team to settle for mediocrity. Mm-hmm. And LeBron James knows, you also saw in that game him talking trash to Cameron Payne. You say, all right, remember, be humble now. So I'm going to bet the house on the fact that guys like Russell Westbrook, he and I talk about it on our show all the time. We as athletes, I'm petty. I'm crazy competitive. I remember everything you do. So all the people lambasting Russell Westbrook, you don't think he's going to remember that? All the people talking trash to LeBron James, you don't think he's going to remember that? People not having Dwight Howard on the top 75 list, you don't think Dwight remembers that? That conflict you saw, these are all things that are going to perpetuate and motivate the Lakers. I don't care about where they start. I care about where they finish.
Okay. Yeah, and I think they still are the team to beat despite this little tit that they had on the sideline. In practice, you can only imagine, Stephen and Molly, what goes on in practice. Mm-hmm. The arguments, the pushing and shoving. They're trying to sort things out. Yeah. This won't be the first time. This isn't the first time, and it won't be the last time. It just so happened it was on television. We saw it, and it was like, oh, God, what is going on here? It didn't cost them the game. It didn't cost them their season.
But why was Magic so bothered by it then?
Well, because Magic's been in a situation, like you said, for 42 years. He's never seen that. They handled their confrontation differently when he played.
I've seen a lot of confrontation like that. I mean, I've seen a lot of people go at it. I've worked out with Kobe. I've seen Kobe try to fight. I've seen Michael Jordan try to fight people.
That's not the biggest reason if they were not to advance. That wouldn't be the biggest reason. It would be because their age, they're breaking down, they're not playing defense. That would be the problem, Stephen A.
Let me say this. First of all, the argument was nothing. It was much ado about nothing. And if you look at Dwight Howard, when Dwight Howard was going back at him, because NBA TV showed the complete footage, and AD had chased D. Howard down and confronted him. All Dwight Howard was saying to him was not on camera, not in public. If you look at him and you watch him, he's like, not here.
Yeah, being a veteran.
In other words, he's like, not here. That's all he was saying. He wasn't having a problem with Anthony Davis, what Anthony Davis was saying. He's saying, you don't come at me like that with the cameras rolling in front of everybody. That's all Dwight Howard was saying. That's number one. Number two, let me say this to you. It wasn't a big deal, but what I'm seeing from the Lakers is a big deal only in this respect. It ain't about Russell Westbrook and questioning him. This brother's a walking triple-double. He's a future Hall of Famer. He made it on my top 75 list. Of course, LeBron did. Of course, AD did. Of course, Carmelo Anthony did. Dwight Howard, no, he'll be my top 100. He wasn't my top 75. That's a subject for another day. But let me tell you something right now. My reservations about the Lakers is my reservations about everybody. I am willing to sit here in front of y'all right now, and I'm telling you right now, the Golden State Warriors might win it all. And I'm telling you this, and let me say, I'm getting to a point where I'm using my imagination. imagining Klay Thompson comes back. Of course, I'm not talking about as presently constructed. Klay Thompson comes back. Wiseman comes back. All right. What I've seen from Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, Damian Lee, Kuminga coming back. You know, they're not coming. You know, he's the first round pick, number 7 overall. I'm looking at this squad, their ability to hit shots and free throws, and I'm telling you right now, if Klay Thompson and brothers come back healthy, the only thing that will have any chance of stopping them is Kyrie Irving returning to Brooklyn to join Harden and KD. There is no one else, including the Lakers, that will be able to knock off the Golden State Warriors.
See, I push back on you.
That's where I'm at with
that.
that.
And not as a Laker fan, but merely as a basketball fan.
Okay.
Because this is a new team and a new nucleus coming together.
Okay.
You've got to give them an opportunity to gel. We just assume Klay Thompson's going to come back as Klay Thompson.
Right.
This brother's had 2 different surgeries over the last couple of years.
Okay. I want to respond to that, but let me say this to you. A couple of things that you need to pay attention to that I'm bringing up. Number one, I'm assuming the Lakers are going to get it together because I believe in any team led by LeBron James, they eventually will be ready. So long as they're healthy, they eventually will be ready come playoff time. And I believe in Russell Westbrook. I think he gets a bad rap, people calling him selfish or whatever. He might need to make better decisions, but he definitely needs to improve his perimeter shot because they dare him to shoot sometimes. That's problematic for them. And him and LeBron James have both struggled to shoot 70% from the free throw line in the last 3 years. People have ignored that. You got to make free throws come playoff time. That's one element. And number 2, it's important, Jay, because you know you're going to get to the line. The game slows down. Defenses get back. More fouls are called. You're going to have to make free throws. We know Golden State ain't missing them. But these guys, they might miss them. Number 2, and more importantly, remember when you bring up Klay Thompson's key?
Yes.
If it's Russell Westbrook and he has that kind of injury, it's a disaster. Because his success, is predicated on his athleticism.
But he still got to play defense.
Klay Thompson.
But Klay got still got to play defense.
Time out. Klay's success is based off his athleticism too now. Don't sleep on his athleticism.
I'm not.
Klay Thompson is one of the most athletic dudes there.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about he's such a pure shooter is what I'm saying.
Great. So you see him as a pure...
He's not going to lose his shot. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, his shot. But he was also one of their biggest clampdown defenders when it came to clutch moments.
I agree with that.
And my thing is, when you have you haven't played basketball in 2 years. If you were to sit here and say, next year, I'm like, okay, I hear you on that next year, because I actually want to see Klay play for a significant amount of time, not get injured, find his rhythm. I think it's a lot to put on Klay Thompson coming back this year. Left knee, torn ACL.
Twice.
Comes back twice, comes back off that. Torn Achilles in the right leg. That's compensation off another one. I'm not going to sit here and say Klay Thompson's going to be what he was 2.5 years ago before he got hurt defensively. I think that's a huge...
To start with, if you can't talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you might be too young to see Kareem play.
Yeah.
I was young enough to see him play. Toward the end of his career, he still had dominant years. You can't start that conversation without mentioning him. I get it. Michael Jordan changed the whole way we look at basketball and the tennis shoe game and all those sort of things. And LeBron is doing what he does. I don't put them against each other. I know a lot of people want to do that. I will never do that because Magic can be in that conversation as far as I'm concerned. Now when you talk about from a Lakers standpoint, he get another championship in L.A. He can maybe get a statue on the backside of Staples over there on the other side. Not in the plaza level where everybody's at, but on the backside. He get 3, he goes in front with everybody. That's the way I look at his Laker legacy because when LeBron first came out in this situation and we were talking about getting him, I really didn't want him. I did not, and that sounds crazy, right, Stephen?
Yes, it is crazy.
I was like, man, I don't want LeBron. And the reason it's not anything personal because he's a friend of mine. I didn't want him because I am a Kobe guy. And I didn't want him threatening the legacy of Kobe Bryant. Right. But I take him full now. That's my dude now. I'm with him. I'm riding with him.
There's nothing that's going to threaten the legacy of Kobe Bryant. I can tell you that. That's number 1. But number 2, when people ask me what a 5th ring would mean for LeBron James, I say not much.
Not much.
And here's the reason why not much. He's already on the Mount Rushmore of basketball.
Already.
Where's he going? I mean, he's already, I'm telling you right now, the NBA, this is their 75th anniversary season. There has not been 3 players on a complete level better than LeBron James in the history of basketball. He's already there. And when we talk about Michael Jordan, and we talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 19-time All-Star.
Yes.
All right, 6-time champion, 6-time MVP, obviously surefire Hall of Famer. The greatest scorer in the history of basketball. And by the way, the only individual in the history of the game with one unstoppable move. Nobody else, Scott Hug, nobody else in the history of basketball has ever had one unstoppable move other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Period. And so when we look at it from that perspective, all I'm saying to you is that Kareem is up there, but I look at the versatility of a LeBron James, not needing. Kareem's 7'2".
But it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen
Exactly.
other.
But LeBron is 6'9". What he could do on both ends of the floor, what he could do in the perimeter, in the interior, in the open court, et cetera, et cetera. I just have MJ number 1, LeBron James number 2, and because of that, a 5th ring wouldn't change that.
It does narrow the ring count. And do you have LeBron on the Mount Rushmore of LA Laker greats already?
Well, when you talk about, hold on, wait a minute. The only reason is because he's only been there for.
So let me lead us to me. Let me get it in my mind real quick.
Magic,
Jerry West, Kobe.
Yeah.
Kareem, Shaq, Big Game James.
No, let me say this to you. Let me say
What I'm
this.
saying is that pushes over into that conversation.
You've got to put Shaq
in the cap. Kareem, Magic, Kobe. There's one spot left. Exactly. You take that spot from Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Will Chamberlain. You take it from them.
You can because
Guys,
LeBron is better than them, and number 2,